What if missiles could be destroyed at a speed of light? Israel's Iron Beam system is capable of doing the same. It is changing the modern warfare, and that's why it also has short interest of India. India is trying to induct the laser defense system into its overall air defense architecture of Sudarshan Chakra. So let us try to decode in this entire video how exactly such kind of laser weapon work, what is Iron Beam, and how it will provide edge to Indian military in the future warfare. So first of all, we know that this discussion is in the context of recent visit of Prime Minister Modi to Israel. Here he has focused on expanding ties with Israel, which has reached a comprehensive scale, and it encompasses all the kind of architecture, whether it is in the arena of security, defense, agriculture, economy, and even geopolitical consensus as such. What we are seeing today is a broader cooperation also developing in the technological and industrial sector, most specifically such industries which are related to the defense sector and defense field as such. This visit has also drawn a lot of diplomatic eyeballs and importance because of the post-Gaza conflict situation where it is going on. Now, before moving further, also we have to understand that today the tie that India and Israel enjoy, it has evolved significantly. Earlier, this was just a buyer-seller relationship where Israel used to supply a lot of weapons to India. India was simply buying this in a ready-made form. Today, both countries have agreed to have a strategic partnership, and countries are focused on co-producing many of the defense items and weapons in India itself. Technology of transfer is also something that India always has wanted from the important countries, and that is something that Israel is willing to give. Plus, in the sphere of intelligence and cyber cooperation, we are seeing further development as well. It is in this context many of the experts argue that India is trying to put Iron Beam system that was indigenously developed by Israel into its overall architecture of the Sudarshan Chakra, the air defense system that we have that encompasses the entire range as such. So what is this Iron Beam system? Now, Iron Beam is an English translation of the actual Israeli word. In Israel, it refers to Aitan light or Aitan's light. Aitan basically means solid. That means very, very hard kind of light. And that is because it is a laser based directed energy weapon. Laser based directed energy weapon, that means if you look at this particular image here, you can see that if suppose some kind of aerial threat is moving toward Israel, in that case it can use this weapon to focus a strong intensity of laser light and then can cause damage to the systems, whether it is the we can say missile system or even if domes as such. So overall, whenever such kind of directed energy weapon is fired, the multiple laser beams then move from different direction and then converge at a single point with the help of the sensor and systems. And as the laser beams concentrate on a single point over a particular aerial threat, what it causes is structural failure of that particular threat and can also cause the critical component damage, specifically because you know that most of the threat are having electronic component, so they get easily damaged. And after that, what happens? Definitely the drones, rocket, these kind of threats will be easily neutralized in the sky itself before they can reach the place of destination. This system is developed by Rafael, which is a company of Israel. So Rafael system has developed it first of all in the Singapore Defense Expo. Israel presented this technology. Now, as far as how this system beam, how this Iron Beam works, so it looks something like this. This is the photograph that was released by the Israeli defense agencies. So this you can see simple system, and this is the structure, we can say, vent through which you have the laser beam that is thrown out. Now, it is a high power fiber laser beam convergence, as we discussed, on target, low per interception cost. Now, why it is seen as attractive weapon? It is not only because of its efficiency, because of its you can say precision of destroying threat, but also because of the interception cost. If you look at the recent we can say war that we fought with Pakistan, we have seen swarms of drone being used by Pakistan to attack various different part of Indian territory as such. So we do have air defense system, but most of these missiles that we use as a part of air defense systems are very costly. And if you have a drone swarm that is coming toward India, you know that drone cost very, very low, very, very less. That's why using missile to intercept drone is not very cost competitive, and that's where such kind of weapon like Iron Beam come into picture. Because if you take all the cost associated with the weapons system as such, it costs about $2,000 per intervention, per interception. and that is very less, because even if you fire any low scale missile, it would be more than 10 to 15,000, 50 to $100,000 as such. So that's why such kind of weapon system is very high in demand. Advantages and limitation, if you take a look here: rapid engagement capability, because there is no sensor fatigue. If you are firing missile from your missile defense system, in that case, because missile need time to reload, the sensors have to again readjust, and that's why they faces sensor fatigue. And if large number of drone swarms are coming, it becomes difficult for the missiles to continuously keep launching on these strikes on this target. That is not the problem with this kind of weapon system, laser weapon system. They can in a very short period of time, they can actually expel a burst of laser light that can destroy the weapon system. Weather dependent performance it has, that is the limitation, because it cannot work if you have very cloudy kind of weather, or we can talk about weather where you have large amount of smoke and all that. Their efficiency declines. Complements missile defense, it obviously cannot be considered as a standalone weapon system to provide you air defense or anti this air defense such, but overall to engage targets which are coming in high volume, as we discussed, the swarms of drone and low cost again referring to drone. So for such kind of threats, neutralizing it becomes very difficult by the conventional weapon system, economically or financially, and that's where the role will play here. Now, where does it fit into the overall air defense infrastructure or structure of India? So let us first understand about the integrated air defense system that India today uses, which it has referred as Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra basically refers to the air defense system that works at long range, medium range, and even at short range, and it is also guided by a network of sensors and interceptions. They keep on communicating with each other, they keep on sharing information and data with each other. Based on that, then the system decides which kind of weapon to be used for neutralizing aerial threats, where aerial threat lie. So that is where the air defense system comes in picture. So if you briefly look at the air defense architecture of India, we have long range defense layer that is largely guarded by the S-400 Triumph that we have inducted from Russia. It also is being complemented and supplemented by the indigenous project that is called as Kusha system. So it is our strategic long range seal. That means over long range, if any threats such as a long range missile, any ballistic missile, any aircraft, it is coming, then we can utilize it. At medium range, we have MRSAM, that is medium range surface to air missile. Barak 8 system is the backbone of it. It is jointly developed by DRDO, that is Defense Research Development Organization of India, and Israeli Air Space Agency. Joint development by Israel plus India. This basically is used to provide protection to the air bases and naval assets if we have in the both. We can talk about over the land as well as in the sea. And then comes the short and very short range system. Here we have equipped ourselves with the Akash system, and we have QRSAM, that is quick reaction surface to air missiles, because if it is short range, that means enemy aircraft or any missile has already penetrated the outermost layer and the medium layer. Now it is very close to target. In that case, you need to have such missile which can react at very small in very small and short period of time and can destroy the aerial threat as such. Here we also supplemented by the MANPADS, that is the man portable air defense system, and also the mobile systems that we have. For this basically this kind of system is largely utilized to counter drones and helicopter like threats that might be present in the sky. Akash has been definitely the backbone of this very system. It proved very effective also. We talk about the recent war that we have with Pakistan. In the Pakistan-India confrontation, we have seen the effectiveness of two systems. One was the BrahMos missile that we used as a striking capability, we can say as a kinetic weapon. And then for the defense system, we have seen the efficiency of S-400 system as well as Akash system. Both were very advantageous for India. Now, the question is that why then we are looking at RRB? So, as we discussed, defense economics was a challenge because cheap drones basically intercepting it with a costly missile does not make any financial case. Plus, there is a risk of saturation attacks. As I told you that you cannot fire missiles at such a short period of time continuously, and a drone, swarms of drone, as you have seen, can be sent by Pakistan. So if hundreds and hundreds of drones are being sent, you need some economical way of neutralizing it, and that's where the cost effective solution, one best solution we have, is the iron beam. And interestingly, iron beam kind of concept is being developed by India also. So there it will also be integrated into our Sudarshan Chakra system. There it is believed, as per the Indian military, it would serve as a bottom defensive layer. Bottom defensive layer means it will protect critical nodes, urban centers, or even forward deployed troops or formations as the enemy, as we move inside the enemy line in the case of war. At the same time, it is also assisted by artificial intelligence. So target can easily be allocated, and thus after that you can fire and forget, and the missile, basically the laser weapon will do its job as such. Cost effective threat neutralization, such as a swordfish and this Arudhra can be integrated with it. Now, interestingly, when you talk about such kind of concept, that means laser guided weapon, India already has developed it. It is under the Durga program. Durga stands for Directionally Unrestricted Ray Gun Array. So this is example of India's indigenous laser weapon project. Something similar that Israel already has developed in the case of Iron Beam and has successfully used it to neutralize threats also. As far as India's program is concerned, currently we still are in the research and development this stage. We have not designed it. It is not inducted by inducted into the Indian military, and this has been designed as a 100 kilowatt class system, laser class system, we can say, which can tackle effectively drones, rockets, and even other short range threats such as helicopters, as we have discussed before. The problem is that we are facing several problems in development of this technology. These problems, scientists say, comes in the area of beam stability, because when you are sending a laser beam, it need to be stabilized so that it can properly, we can say, is incident on the enemy threat as such, aerial threat as such. And especially the case when aerial threat is not static, it is continuously moving. So imagine a drone that is continuously moving in the sky. So laser beam has to have the stability so that it can keep on tracking it and keep on basically pointing toward it, keep on getting incident on it. Second is adaptive optics, and third is atmospheric compensation, because when the laser beam is fired, it passes through different layers of atmosphere, it passes through different gases, different kind of pollutant particles and all that. So how it interferes with it, for that also you need to have compensation so that the strength of laser beam can be maintained. So in this cases, we are facing technological challenges in developing it, and that's where the role of Israel's Iron Beam comes into picture, because we can possibly collaborate with Israel on the technological collaboration as well. We can jointly develop this technology, and then India can have its own indigenous Durga system, and that would be somewhere supported by Israel's own research and development in the Iron Beam. So that's where the interest lies, and this obviously points toward a bright future that we see developing in the case of India and Israel defense ties. Co-development and joint ventures already have started in different areas of India. The example we can take of Hyderabad, where Adani Company of India has signed a memorandum of understanding with Elbite system of the Israel, and both of these companies have collaborated to develop Hermes class missiles. Similarly, space and cyber cooperation is the area where companies are taking keen interest from both countries, and overall all this point toward the strategic alignment that we are seeing between Israel and India in the context of the changing geopolitical situations in West Asia, especially with the Iran crisis looming larger in the region as such. That's all about this particular video. If you like the video, please like button, share with your friends, and subscribe channel for more such content. Thank you very much.